This is one of the most recognizable cars ever built. Stainless steel body, gullwing doors, a shape that looks like it came from the future. Even people who do not follow cars know what it is. Today, it is an icon. But when it was new, it nearly destroyed the company that built it. Because behind that futuristic design was a story of ambition and risk, a series of decisions that pushed a small company beyond its limits. So how did one of the most famous cars in history become a symbol of failure? To understand that, you have to start with the man behind it. John DeLorean was not just another executive. He was one of the brightest stars inside General Motors. In the 1960s, he built a reputation quickly. He was bold, confident, different. While most executives followed the system, DeLorean stood out. He helped bring cars like the Pontiac GTO to life, helping define the muscle car era. And for a while, it looked like he had everything: power, influence, a clear path to the top. But that was not enough. DeLorean did not just want to succeed inside the system, he wanted to change it. He believed cars could be better, safer, more advanced, more forward-thinking, and more importantly, he wanted to prove it. So in the early 1970s, he made a decision that surprised everyone. He walked away from General Motors and set out to build his own car company. It was a bold move, but it was also incredibly risky. Starting a car company from scratch is one of the hardest things to do in any industry. It requires massive investment, complex engineering, and perfect execution. But DeLorean believed he could do it differently. The goal was simple: build a car that stood apart from everything else on the road. Not just another performance car, not just another luxury car, something unique, something that felt like the future. The result was the DeLorean DMC-12. From the outside, it was unlike anything else. Unpainted stainless steel panels reflected light in a way no other car did. Sharp, angular lines looked more like a concept car than something meant for everyday driving. And of course, the gullwing doors. They did not just open, they lifted upward, creating a dramatic, almost theatrical experience. This was not just transportation, it was a statement. But while the design captured attention, the reality underneath was more complicated. The DMC-12 was powered by a V6 engine developed through a partnership between Peugeot, Renault, and Volvo. It produced around 130 horsepower. That number mattered, because the car did not look like a 130 horsepower car. It looked aggressive, fast, powerful. But when people drove it, the performance did not match the expectation. Acceleration was modest. Combined with the car's weight, it often felt slower than many buyers expected. Part of that weight came from the stainless steel body. Part came from changes made during development, because the original vision had already begun to shift. As the project moved forward, compromises were made, deadlines slipped, budgets tightened, and engineering decisions were adjusted to keep the project alive. But building the car was only part of the challenge. Producing it at scale was something else entirely. Instead of manufacturing in the United States, DeLorean chose Northern Ireland. The decision was influenced by government support. The region needed jobs, and the project offered an opportunity. Funding was provided. A factory was built, but there was a problem. The workforce had little to no experience building cars. Everything had to be learned from the ground up. Training took time, mistakes happened, and quality became an issue. Early cars showed inconsistencies. Panels did not always align perfectly. Electrical systems were unreliable. Fit and finish varied from one car to another. The car looked futuristic, but it did not always feel refined. At the same time, the financial pressure was growing. Developing a car is expensive, and delays made it worse. Costs rose, and the company needed sales to survive. The DMC-12 entered the market at a relatively high price. For that price, buyers expected performance, but the car did not deliver what many expected. Interest was there. People were curious, and the design attracted attention everywhere it went. But curiosity did not always translate into sales. For DeLorean Motor Company, that gap became critical. By the early 1980s, the situation had reached a breaking point. The company needed more funding. Without it, production would stop. Efforts were made to secure additional investment, but confidence was fading. The company was losing money and the outlook was uncertain. Then everything changed. In 1982, John DeLorean became the center of a major legal case. He was arrested as part of a drug trafficking investigation. The footage spread quickly. The headlines were everywhere. It became a public spectacle. Even though DeLorean would later be found not guilty, the damage was immediate, and it was severe. Public trust collapsed, investors pulled back, and any remaining chance of saving the company disappeared. Shortly after, DeLorean Motor Company went into receivership. Production stopped, the factory closed, and fewer than 10,000 cars had been built. Just like that, it was over. The company was gone. But the story did not end there, because something unexpected happened. The car survived. In 1985, the DeLorean appeared in Back to the Future, and suddenly, everything changed. The same car that had struggled to find buyers became one of the most recognizable vehicles in the world. Its design, once seen as unusual, now felt timeless. Its identity shifted from failure to icon. Today, the DeLorean is remembered in a completely different way, not as a failed business, but as a symbol of bold thinking, of ambition, of a moment when someone tried to challenge an entire industry. And even though the company did not survive, the idea did. The DeLorean story is not just about a car. It is about what happens when vision meets reality, when ambition moves faster than execution, when timing, decisions, and circumstances all collide. Because building something different is never easy, and sometimes, even when the idea is strong, everything else has to be right too. In the end, the DeLorean did not fail because it was uninteresting. It failed because too many things had to go right, and too many did not. But its legacy is something else entirely. Because even now, decades later, people still remember it. And maybe that is the most interesting part. A car that could not save its company ended up outliving it. And the real question is this: was the DeLorean doomed from the start? Or was it simply a vision that came at the wrong time?